Over the last few months, I have been using my phone better, but the one downside of that is that I have been using my phone a lot more. And this is a controversial topic for me because I have two young kids at the age of 8 and 6, and they are at that age, obviously, where they're taking everything in. And I am conscious of the fact, how often do they see me on my phone? And this has brought me to the conclusion that I use my phone in two different ways, intentionally and passively. So when I'm being intentional with the use of my phone, I am lifting it for a specific reason. So when I'm at work, I use my phone a lot, obviously, probably like a lot of people. One of the first things I do whenever I get in, I take a seat on the comfy chair and I look at my to-do list and my calendar for the day, and I do that on my phone rather than turning on the laptop, and because I would totally get distracted by an email or a Teams message that would pop up. But when I'm not at work and I'm at home and I'm using my phone intentionally, I use it for a multitude of things. I have a shared grocery list with my husband using Apple Notes. I have a very large to-do list that captures pretty much everything end to end in my life, whether it's a Sunday night and I have to get school dinner money ready, whether it's a Tuesday night and I have to get leggings out to put on my daughter's pile of uniform for the next day, and that sort of stuff. I use my phone for my calendar, so I wouldn't use a typical paper diary. I have everything on my phone that also has work calendar and personal calendar, and it keeps me right for those moments, those monthly dates that I have with my granny, making sure that I actually have something nice in the house and some wine. But most of the time she brings a bottle of wine, so that saves me. I use my phone when I'm having some me time. Say the kids want to have some me time, that means I don't feel guilty that I have some me time, and I go for a walk and my mind's wandering and I want to note something down in Apple Notes. There's a quote that I found and I want to note that down. I'm listening to a podcast when I'm doing some chores around the house. I am just chilling and I'm just listening to some music. You get the gist. I'm being intentional with the use of my time. And when I am intentional using my phone like this, I feel good. And well, I feel rubbish if I'm using my phone passively, doing the absolute opposite of intentional use. I'm lifting my phone because I'm bored, potentially because I'm procrastinating from doing something that I don't particularly want to do. And whenever it gets to those points, I'm lifting the phone for absolutely no reason, and it upsets me. I'm sure it upsets everybody, but I let the distractions take over, the pretty colors of an app. Instagram, LinkedIn, they're probably my worst ones. LinkedIn specifically. And by the way, guys, if anybody watching this, LinkedIn is just as bad as Instagram. Okay, that's my opinion. And I just let that take over, and I end up in that loop of doom scrolling and have potentially wasted 30 minutes of my evening when I could have been doing something so much more productive, like reading a book or catching up with my husband, or just actually lying down and just mindfully trying to relax. And if I've spent it on my phone, I feel terrible. Something that has actually helped me, and it's not going to be applicable for everybody unless you just pick up a hobby and try and do something new with your time and filling those blocks up in your life, is doing this check the box and learn. Trying to regularly post on Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube, and that has in a strange way reduced the amount of time I would go on there previously and do that doom scroll, because I've already been on it today. I've done something productive and I don't really want to waste any more time going on to that app. I've also subscribed to Blinkist this year. I started that, actually subscribed just at the end of last year in December, and it is brilliant. I love it. I love to read generally anyway, fiction and non-fiction. The Blinkist app is focused on non-fiction books, and they have broken books down into key lessons, which they refer to as blinks. And one book could be reduced down to about 15 minutes. You could get through the whole book with those key lessons in those form of blinks, or maybe it goes up to like 25 minutes. It's really good. They also have an audio version of it now too, and you can speed listen, speed read. So I love it. It's another, I don't want to say it's another excuse to get on my phone, because I'm trying to fix that. But it is a replacement. So say if I'm on my phone and there's a risk of me going from intentional use to passive use, it's like, oh, Blinkist, let me get distracted on Blinkist rather than getting distracted on Instagram. So it's obvious this is an area I'm trying to improve upon in my life. Over the last 3 months, it's definitely way better, and I am being a lot more conscious, like I said at the start of the video, of my time on my phone in front of my kids. But if there is a time I am specifically on it and they're querying, what are you doing, mummy? I will explain to them what I am doing, and fingers crossed that I am actually being intentional with my time. So when I am getting that wee itchy feeling, I have now started to ask myself, if I'm going to reach out and lift my phone, am I actually going to be intentional with my time? And if I'm not going to lift it. It's a lot harder said than done. Since the start of the year, I have gone that step further to challenge myself even more with the use of a notebook. And I saw these pretty little notebooks a while ago. It's an American brand. They are called Field Notes, and very small, for 48 pages. So I was hoping I'd get one with about a month of writing, but I'm getting about half a month with it. They are actually that small, but I guess that's a good thing on my part because I'm using it intentionally. And I am pairing this up with the intentional use on my phone so that I can be even more intentional. So if I am listening to a podcast, if I am reading, a subscribed email newsletter that I would get weekly, if I am reading Blinkist, and there's something that resonates with me, I note it down. And if there's a time when I haven't written anything down, that intentional use has probably become quite passive. I have a habit, I don't know about anybody else, but I have a habit of not retaining information. Say I've read something that night on the Kindle app or on Blinkist. The next day, can I remember? No, I can't. And a lot of the time I want to be able to come back to it, especially if it's something I find of value. And that's where this has really helped me. And this is the second one that I have started. The first one lasted me up until the 18th of January, having started that at the start of January. So they are getting a lot of use. I would definitely recommend introducing it to your workflow if you're trying to be more intentional with your time. I'll drop a link actually to it in the description below, and also there's a moleskin equivalent which I'll also drop into the description below. So thank you for watching. If you like this kind of video, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.